Hey, there, you. Hi, are you sick of talking about football on social media platforms like Twitter? Well, come over and join our Discord. Club Legend subscribers on Redmen Plus gain exclusive access. We're in there chatting about the Reds, a gang of wonderful sound people. There's a no knobheads policy, so you can have a much more fun, engaging and just generally enjoyable experience chatting about Liverpool Football Club. RedmenPlus.com, Club Legend subscribers, get in the Discord. Hello everyone, welcome to Redmen, welcome to the build-up show. I am joined by Chloe Bloxham and John Machin for this one, as we look ahead to Liverpool versus Bournemouth with the overriding mantra of Dear God Liverpool, just win a game of football. Dad, hi. You come in quite a sunny disposition today, you know, the weather's alright.
Yeah, sun shining.
Going off for a bevy later.
All's right with the world.
Yeah. Apart from the Reds.
Even there.
It has been a bit of a grim few weeks, though, hasn't it? It's hard. I find this, and I know you feel this way too, and I think we all do. There's just a percentage of happiness that Liverpool not winning steals from your life on a day-to-day basis, and it's exacerbated by all the noise that now surrounds Liverpool on a daily basis through social media and mainstream media and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could just actually win a game, because I'm struggling to work out why I don't feel happy, and it's probably just because of Liverpool.
Yeah, at the start of a season, you want to start winning football matches, don't you? And if you've gone 3 games and you haven't won one, every doom and gloom merchant says, well, we can't win the league now. The whole season's, gone to pot. Let's play our first team against Derby in the League Cup. That's all we're going to get this season. I mean, it just makes everyone, miserable, and all the people on Twitter and everywhere else who are horrible most of the time get even doubly horrible when we haven't won a game of football.
Yeah, yeah, and it's true. It is. It's tough, isn't it, Chloe? Because we all just want to get about the business. This is that first month of the season. In fact, you're meant to get a month, 6 weeks or so of just pure unbridled optimism. It's a new season, everything exists in possibility, before you get into the grind when the Champions League comes back and all of a sudden you're playing twice a week and you realise that not every result is the be all and end all, or if you draw it can feel hard, blah blah blah. This is meant to be when it's fine, but to me that's the point, because of the knife edge the footy exists on, it does feel like you can't help but have those fears creep in of like, oh well, what are we playing for now? Liverpool cocked it up already. And yeah, just that general sense of just being ill at ease when Liverpool aren't pissing games of football like we used to.
Yeah, I think at the end of last season, everyone was like, thank God the football's over. Yeah. And I felt like that pretty much up until a week and a half before the football came back. The game, obviously, against City, after that, it was like, I am ready for this season. And
we bounced out of the King Power Stadium that day.
And now I want an international break, to be perfectly honest. And I never say that. I can't be arsed with international football, but right now, give me one. I feel like I need another break. If Liverpool do not win on Saturday, I'm happy that we're not on the TV. That is my point. But people will go and watch it on Match of the Day anyway. So, but yeah, it feels like graft at times at the moment to watch us. I mean, I was at Fulham and I thought, surely we can't get any worse than that. And Palace was a bit better. We had our spells, but obviously we lost Darwin Núñez and we didn't come out with the result we wanted. And then against Manchester United, it was possibly worse than Fulham. And it's like, the Reds need to somehow, I don't know whether it's mentality, I just genuinely don't know what's up with us at the moment, and it's hard to put your finger on it because it seems like there's little potholes everywhere all over the pitch, and I'm just hoping that the mentality of these boys, we can swing it around.
I think that's the point, isn't it, Dad, is that there's injuries, and we'll talk about where Liverpool's current injury status is, but there's effectively an entire team of lads not available between injury and suspension. They can kind of cower over that and cry about it, and it's going to be a bigger problem next week when there's 2 games, when there's Newcastle and the Derby in 7 days. But the point remains, regardless of how many games you've got to play, the lads who are available are going to have to be the lads to dig us out the shit. So, we're going to have to see increased application no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the case, isn't it? The team you've got available is the team that's got to do the business. I mean, and it's Liverpool Football Club. You don't expect a team that goes on the pitch at Anfield especially, not to win the game of football.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is that goes on the pitch.
Yeah.
I still expect them to win. There's a lot of talk about we need to buy. If we've got 11 people out, I'm not so sure what difference one footballer coming in makes.
Yeah.
How good has he got to be before he can actually change the problems that we've got at the moment? And the problems aren't that we haven't got the players to go on the pitch, because we're putting out a decent first team every time, even now.
Yeah.
We might not have the choice we want, or we might not be able to throw on 5 subs at any moment. But, we're putting out a team which should win football matches. The problem we've got is we're not.
Yeah.
And we really need to look at why. And it's not just these 3 games. It goes way back to last season.
Yeah.
We couldn't score goals once teams realise that if they sit deep, we've nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You can press all you like. If there's no one there to press,
Yeah. Well,
what the hell are you doing?
It's been Liverpool's weakness forever. Teams who come in and park the bus. I mean, we've gone to Anfield many years and years. Tony Pulis used to do this with Stoke all the time. We're actually living in a Premier League that has less of those type of sides, but it's become the method. That's how clubs know. No point. You don't play wild open football against Liverpool because they'll kill you. The issue we've got, Chloe, and this is where injuries and, most importantly, I think suspension plays a part in this, is that I wonder whether Liverpool have identified this, but Bobby Firmino's not the answer to this type of problem, because if he was, we would have had no need to replace or upgrade upon Roberto Firmino. Salah can be the answer. Mane was a similar answer. We've obviously brought Darwin Núñez in. We've brought Jota in, and obviously the likes of Thiago as well, to try and help us with these kind of things. But at the minute, literally none of those lads can get on the pitch. So it does make you wonder whether more application, but do we actually need to do something different on the pitch? Because we're not far off that old adage of it's the definition of insanity if we keep trying to do the same thing knowing that you're likely to get the same result.
Yeah, and I think in games like that, I think we had at Chelsea the 1-1 last season where they sat back, they scored from a corner, sat back a little bit, and we struggled to break them down, and you could feel the pressure. You felt, there might be a goal here, but there comes to a time where the players on the pitch get so frustrated that it then frustrates the entire crowd, and a lot of the time we force these long balls that everyone's like, you've got 35 minutes, calm yourselves down. And I don't know what the answer is. I thought Darwin Núñez would help us with those moments because he's tall. Put one in the box for him, and his desire, make him go and win that header, and he can challenge people. He's very tall, but he's also very slick. He's very fast. So he can do more than one thing, and a defender's not just going to think, oh right, he's in behind me. He's also going to cut across me and win this header. And his movement, you saw for the Fulham goal, I think it was, his movement was impeccable, but he did something absolutely stupid, and now we're back to plan A. And to be fair, we're very lucky that we've even got Roberto Firmino back, because he was nearly not playing. And I don't think he played awful against Manchester United. He just wasn't in the areas we needed a striker to be in. And if he sits that deep again against Bournemouth, if they do sit back, and fair play to Bournemouth, they seem like they're doing all right for a newly promoted side, but if it is that, you've got absolutely no one testing that back line, and that's the problem.
That's it. It just tactically just feels off as well, doesn't it? That, we're trying something new, clearly.
Well, I mean, the signing of Darwin Núñez actually makes sense now. It didn't actually make sense to me when we first bought him. It seemed a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to suddenly want a young forward who, whose experience is quite limited if you think about it. Why were we buying him? And yet now, and he does look quite raw still when I've seen him play. You now realise that that's one of the solutions to putting 11 men behind the ball, is you actually get in there amongst them and rough them up a bit and out jump them in the air for headers, and put them under pressure, and then the likes of Carvalho coming in, who's very, very good inside the box, and Diaz, who can beat 3 and 4 men at a time. They're all solutions to the problem that they've obviously identified. But when you lose Núñez and you're losing Thiago, you start to lose the ability to change. And that's our problem at the moment. We're not able to change, even though we've identified the problem.
And the problem is as well, you've got Mo Salah, who we know is a supreme goal scorer, but you the Mane absence is exacerbated because of the lack of Jota, because at the moment Diaz is still getting up to speed. I don't know that he's going to come close to Mane's goal tally. At the moment, I would suggest not.
He's too wide for me.
Yeah.
Mane, see, when the reason that Firmino sacrificed himself and looked so brilliant was because Mane was always cutting across the defender on the inside. He was outside a lot and he could beat a man, but his inside runs that always got him to the box where he was cutting across the right back or the right centre half. That's what meant, we've still got someone attacking that back line. I love Diaz. He was probably our best player in that first half against Manchester United, but he was so far wide that when Bobby's up here, he's there and Salah's there. There's just, Martinez, who's 5'9", being dominated by loads of people in the first two games, just had no one to mark. He could just mark the space.
Yeah. And again, it's Nunez not being on the pitch, isn't it? Because if you got him on the pitch, you want people to be wide.
But my issue with this is, if it feels like we're trying to stick to the formula that we're trying to generate. So we're trying to generate a new way of playing or a modified way of playing, but we're doing it without the focal point. Why isn't Firmino being told to play like that? Is my issue. He's like that Man United game. That was like the best and worst of Roberto Firmino. When it works, when he's drawing men off the back line, he's going deep, he's picking the ball up. That's fine. But either you're telling him, because last season he wasn't playing like that. He didn't play loads of football for us, but he was playing much more on the end of things. He was getting into the box. He was vacating the box time and time again. He was on Jordan Henderson's toes. He was on Milner's toes. He was in the centre circle too much. I just find that a bit odd, because there's people's natural games, yes, but they're also Bobby that way, he'll do it, so it just feels, everything just feels a little bit off. It feels unplanned at the moment. It doesn't feel in our sphere of influence.
I would say though that Carvalho would help that, and I thought he helped it in the second half, because him and Harvey Elliott is the only one who in my mind can keep their head up high from that game. They gave everything. The desire was there from them, and Carvalho, when he got the ball, he ran at Manchester United. We don't have anyone in our midfield. Yeah, Harvey Elliott does that, but he was on the he was with Salah and interchanging with Salah, so he wasn't really in the mid. Where Carvalho, when he got the ball, he drove forward into the middle of the park. He obviously has the shot that leads to our goal as well. He's there. He's in the areas where Bobby should be. Yeah. And I think maybe if he comes in and plays, that maybe might give Bobby license to stay up top, and Carvalho say, I'm going to basically do what you do, but also when I pick this ball up, I'm going to turn and face and go, and you get on the shoulder. And it depends if you start.
I think that's a really interesting thing. It's certainly one of the big decisions which we'll be talking about later in the show, about the actual personnel and what we're going to do for this game. But I think that's an interesting point. Of the one thing you've got is an absence of people who are desperate to get into the box. Jota wants to be in the box. Nunez wants to be in the box. I think you're right, Carvalho does. Salah does. But I don't think Elliott does, and I don't think Diaz does. I think Elliott likes being the guy who kind of floats around and picks a pass and moves things forward, happy to get a shot from outside the box, but I don't see that, like, the give and go, I'm going to be bursting in, I'm going to be trying to get in between the sticks and get a shot away in that kind of way. So definitely something for Liverpool to think about. Fulham are above us. I'm not going to show the league table because it's 3 games in and I don't believe in it. Bournemouth are above us. Fulham are above us. Don't show this because it defeats my point.
Almost everyone's above us.
Fulham are above us. Fulham are in 7th at the moment.
It was a correct statement.
It was correct but irrelevant statements, yeah. Brentford are above us. Palace are above us. Forest are above us. Southampton are above us. Everyone apart from Everton, Wolves, Leicester and West Ham are above us right now. There'll be a tricky test. I mean, we've seen they can cause problems. They are still favourites to go down.
They shouldn't be a test. I've seen them against City and Arsenal, and they were absolutely dreadful. But they will sit back, and they will have someone they think can play up front on his own and chase long balls, and that's the game we're in. And it's going to be a question of, can we stop them scoring that one goal we normally concede?
The first goal.
In which case we get a bit more time to actually win the game, or whether or not we're chasing the game or not. It's just going to be the same as always. Whether Bournemouth have the ability to do it, I would question. But You know?
Yeah, a couple of injuries and stuff for them. Potential David Brooks is out, obviously. Joseph Rothwell, who I'd never heard, is out with a thigh injury. Ryan Fredericks has been ruled out of this one. Dom Solanke is 50-50. Last word on this was on the 20th, so I'm hoping that maybe Dom will be back training next week, so hopefully he'll have a chance for Liverpool. Junior Stanislas is also a 25% chance of playing in this game as well. The Solanke stuff I could do without the circus around him, to be honest, because if he is clearly our first experiment with getting a big target man kind of stuff to get up in the box and play around and stuff, which didn't work. But given how short we are, I could really do with him not playing. Or if he does, can he be rubbish? Can he be as bad as like Benteke always seems to be when he played against us post signing for us? Not when he was at Villa, when he was unbelievable.
I mean, they brought him in. He was very young, wasn't he? I think he'd been in the English side, which won the under-18 World Cup. Didn't look very good. He actually got more chances than you thought he would have done at that age.
Yeah.
Played a lot of time on for Liverpool.
Played the Merseyside derby.
Scored in the very last game of the season. That was the only goal he got.
Yeah.
At which point I realised that he was never going to be a centre forward for us.
There was a little moment where he scored that because we basically moved our front three back a row and put him in front of it, and I was like, well, this is all very Robert Lewandowski-esque.
If he'd scored in the first game rather than the last, I might have been impressed.
Yeah, I don't think Sar's recovered from him being picked in that derby.
He's gone to Bournemouth, and eventually he's found his feet in the Championship. And good luck to him. I think he's probably a good forward.
Yeah,
but he's not what we want. But he's obviously found his niche at Bournemouth.
Yeah, 30. We scored 15 and 45 in the Championship in his first season, and then 30 and 48 last season. I mean,
it's good.
The things to be wary of this is that, like, a lot of people were asking the Alexander Mitrovic question on the opening day and saying, well, it's all well and good being good in the Championship, but can you do it in the Premier League? That's where we need to be a little bit careful around this because, he is coming up in goal scoring form.
We all know that if they're going to score, he's going to score it, isn't if he's on the pitch. Even if it just bounces off his head.
Will he celebrate? Does he care enough about us to not
celebrate? I would celebrate if I was.
I don't know. Did he have he felt like he had a good relationship with Klopp, so maybe not. But yeah, who knows?
Scott Parker's a bit of an odd one because I still bear the scars of 2021. I'm not totally keen on that jacket he keeps wearing with the weird stripes on the arm.
That's exactly what I thought when you said him.
It's funny because I thought, why the hell is he leaving Fulham for Bournemouth? And yeah, it's been great for both clubs because Fulham have gone on from strength to strength and he's managed to turn Bournemouth around and bring them up. I think Fulham is still a much better side than Bournemouth, but...
it's... he's obviously a decent manager and he's gone under the radar. There's a few of these guys, aren't there? Obviously Vieira's doing something at Crystal Palace. All the focus was very much on Gerrard and very much on Lampard, but there's another similar age generation. Apparently there's a lot of hope for Scott Parker. I could really do with him just being
shite.
Yes, thank you, Chloe. That's exactly the word I was reaching for. If he could just be crap, that would be brilliant. Thanks
just
very
for
much.
A week after that.
Go back to being a world beater. We'll be up in potential. One little note, actually, that I think has gone a little bit under the radar, but they played in midweek because obviously Liverpool, we hope so rarely that we're in the second round of the League Cup that I always I hear Evertonians go, it's always why is this game not on telly, or where can we see this game? And oh God, it's the second round of the League Cup time. They obviously got through. They beat Norwich on penalties 5-3 in the end. Obviously it doesn't go to extra time or anything, so it goes 90 minutes straight to pen. So it's not like they've had tons of extra exertion, Chloe, but that could play into Liverpool's hands. I'm not sure quite how strong they were, but the fact that they've had to prepare for another game midweek should hopefully it's taken a little bit out of the legs, which will add to our favour, you'd surmise.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope the fact that we haven't got a full week, have we, because we played Monday, but I hope that the time that we've obviously had off not playing midweek means that we've had more training sessions and Jurgen Klopp just screaming at them and saying, lads, I need a reaction from yous, and hopefully we can do it against Bournemouth, who, they don't play well. To be fair, the Championship at the end there's a lot of games there, isn't it? So they are probably actually used to doing that. Just they're not used to doing it and having to play a Liverpool side, and
Christ, I was trying to fight that one away. Yeah.
Whoever they played, they're just not used to having Premier League sides in the middle. So yeah, I mean, even Norwich isn't an easy task. They've only just went down as well. So hopefully that gives us some kind of advantage. I'll take anything at this point.
They beat Villa, didn't they, in their first game, which surprised me. I really thought, Villa would wipe the floor with them.
Yeah.
But I had a look at the stats on that, and they Bournemouth only had 30-odd%, like 34% possession, and still won the game, which suggests that they are able to lie deep and let the other team have all the ball like they will against us.
Yeah.
But then I saw them against City and Arsenal, and they just wiped the floor with Bournemouth. They didn't have any truck with them at all.
Yeah. Just looking at it in terms of the game against Norwich in the week, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know too much about Bournemouth's squad members or whatever, but they had Neto and goal, Greenwood, Senesi, Hill, Stacey across the back four, Pearson and Cook as a two-man midfield, Anthony and Marcondes, and Christie behind Sadie.
That's not their team. That's a weekend side.
Yeah, and just in terms of that, like Senesi played against Arsenal, and Pearson played as well, but that's pretty much it. So
the other thing that worries me is the two teams that we've mentioned them playing, which is City and Arsenal, are scoring goals for fun. Liverpool aren't. So it's also a case of...
Are they scoring goals for fun because they're playing Bournemouth? So that's the question that we need to answer.
I don't know. I hope so. I hope that's the reason. But it's a case of they're going to put their strongest 11 out, and it depends what they do. Scott Parker likes to play football. He doesn't like to sit back, so that might have an effect.
You'd have to be stupid to come to Liverpool and not sit back.
A lot of people are stupid, though. Sometimes they do just
think...
Have you seen
his jackets?
They do just think that there are teams that have came to Anfield and stupidly thought that we might not have loads of possession, but when we do, we can knock it about, and they don't realise how high the press is, especially with that Anfield crowd, and hopefully
we're in a weird situation with this though, because I think we started so strongly against Palace, but then you don't score, and you got great optimism from the crowd, and then it's sort of tailed off when it's not. And obviously they score as well, which kind of cuts the legs off us a bit. But I just wonder whether approach-wise, whether we might just be better. You want to get a fast start to get the crowd on side, but don't leave
yourself open.
Don't burn yourself out. It's 90 minutes. That's what we've been so good at over the years, is remembering it's a 94, 95-minute game of football. Feel your way into it, but the problem is when you've got no game changers on the bench, you've kind of got to get it won in 70 minutes. It's a bit of a basket
the game where I first realised that though was Wolves' last game of the season, where for the life of us, for some reason, we were forcing everything, and it was just every time we got the ball, hoof, lump it and we were like, lads, you've got 70 minutes. What are you? Calm down and play your football, and you'll get through. And instead, because we knew that they were losing, and we just lost our heads a bit and just tried to force it too much. And I think that's the first time we've seen it, and now we're obviously seeing it pretty much every game.
Absolutely right. We're going to be talking about what Liverpool do in this game, but we are partnered with BetMate. We've got our first update here to see how the lads have been getting on and how me and Steve and Chris are faring. Last week, top of the table was the Redmen guest team. So yeah, through BetMate you get to pick a 7-a-side team plus subs on a weekly fantasy football basis. Yeah, the Redmen guest team with 96.5 points.
Can we cash out now?
Yeah, I know, honestly. Sorry, Joe, just bring that back up again, because I've actually not paid attention to that. Oh, hang on a second. Look at that. Who came second? Yeah, it was me. 98. I mean, the points...
No one remembers second place, Paul.
The points are quite clearly wrong on that, by the way, because by all accounts it says I got 2 more points than Redmen guests, which means I should have been higher up the dough. But I come out in the money again last week. Very, very happy with that one. I had a weekend off. Didn't watch a second of the football over the weekend, and yet somehow so talented that I was able to fluke my way into the earnings. One more time, please, Joe. There we go. So yeah, Steve on 88, Chris Pajak on 84.5. Pajak propping up the table once again. We are going to be picking another week's teams. There's a slight variation on a theme. It was just Liverpool games for the first 3 weeks of the season. This time it's a 3 p.m. kickoff, so we can only have a maximum of 2 Liverpool players in the team. My dad and Chloe are going to have the unenviable task of having to pick lots of non-Liverpool... I'm actually probably picking the Liverpool players and then non-Liverpool players later on. If you want to get involved with the BetMate app, then do download it, and obviously make sure that you are 18 plus. Please be gamble aware, and if you're not into the gambling thing, then just don't go near it. It's not for you. It's not for you. That's cool. We're having good fun with it, and then hopefully there's a very high bar. I think that might be twice in 3 weeks that the guests have finished in the money.
It's not looking good for us.
Okay, well, no, but I think if there's a plethora of football knowledge on this desk over here, we just need to tap into it in the right way.
At the opposition, and not up to me.
Yeah, no. Right, Sal, trivia question. We're going to take a very short break. There are 4 players who have played for both Liverpool and Bournemouth, currently playing for other Premier League sides. Name them. Answer after this.
Hey guys, it's nearly the end of August, which means we will soon be doing our Club Legend prize draw. This month's prize is this amazing framed, signed shirt by none other than Liverpool's European Cup winning captain, Mr. Phil Thompson. If you want to be involved in this prize draw, all you got to do is be a Club Legend subscriber on Redmen Plus. If you've never been over to Redmen Plus before, do check it out. Sign up for Club Legends. You'll get access to our Discord chat. You get free merch, you get discounted merch, and of course, entry into this competition. If you're a Club Captain over on Redmen Plus, do upgrade to Club Legend and you too will be in the prize draw. Time is running out, so go and do it. Go and do it now.
Hey, yes, welcome back. If you want to get into the draw for the signed Phil Thompson 77 European Cup shirt, then you can do. Go to redmenplus.com, sign up. One of the added perks of joining as a Club Legend, aside from being put into amazing prize draws every month, is we've got our Discord, which is full of Club Legends, which is just full of just wonderfully sound human beings. And as we've already kind of hinted at, I'm pretty unprompted as well. Like, everyone's having a bit of a torrid time dealing with Liverpool chat online. The amazing people we've got in our Club Legends, it's like a calming chat oasis where people can have reasonable discourse about the Reds without resorting to name calling or using the horrible terms or trying to pigeonhole people into boxes using words like top and bottom and all that kind of stuff. We don't need any of that stuff. So yeah, if you want to talk about Liverpool and chat with Liverpool and have some Liverpool mates online, but you don't want knobheads, there's a no dickhead policy in our Club Legend Discord chat. So yeah, one of the other perks, as well as all the extra content, redmenplus.com. Right, sound. So the trivia question was, there are 4 players who've played for both Liverpool and Bournemouth, currently playing for other Premier League sides. To ease into this, there's another couple of players. The fact that both teams have currently own a player who has played for both. Any idea who? We've definitely discussed at least one of them.
Dom Solanke.
Dom Solanke is one. There was another one. He played. He turned up for Liverpool the last time we played at Anfield.
Come again.
Played centre half for Liverpool.
Nat Phillips.
Nat Phillips. There we go. So there's 2, but they don't count as the answers for this question. I asked the Club Legends this question. Scott T correctly says Adam Lallana is one.
I didn't even know he played football.
He used to play football. Big fan of, apparently he's got his favourite strip club down there. That's a rumour. Unsubstantiated, but I think it's true. Right, sound. There's a good shout here for... what else have we got? So there was a shout for Jordan Ibe. No, Jordan Ibe doesn't currently play in the Premier League. As we mentioned off air, he's in the second division. He's playing for Anaspor or something in the second division of Turkey. But he has played for both. No more stabs on this one.
I don't know. Did Jamie Redknapp ever play for his dad there?
Jamie Redknapp did, but he's not currently playing in the Premier League, so it's a good shout for play for both. We played against one. In fact, we played against one last time at Anfield as well. One place for Crystal Palace.
Nathaniel Klein
played for Liverpool. Yeah, there you go. Nathaniel Klein. There you go. Also played because did we loan him to Bournemouth? Anyway, he was there. I'll give you the answers because this is going down like a fucking lead balloon.
To be fair, I've got 2. No, I've got 1. How many did I get? I got Nathaniel Klein. I'm taking that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have soft served that anymore, but
no, but it's mine's not all there.
Nathaniel Klein, Danny Ings, Adam Lallana, as shouted out, and Harry Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Additional players to that, just in more recent terms, obviously Jamie Redknapp played, Nathaniel Phillips played for, Brad Smith, of course, played for both. We sold him to them. Nigel Spachman, Dad.
Yeah. Well.
David James, apparently. Didn't know that. Jordan Ibe. Doug Livermore. Laurie Dallavalle. Yeah, Jimmy Case.
Wow.
Yeah, loads and loads of lenders, a bunch I've never heard of in my life after that. But yeah. Alex Watson?
Yeah.
Who was he?
He was an old player.
Sad. Okay.
I mean, the thing is, it sounds like Bournemouth have all of our players at some point in their careers.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone passes through Bournemouth at least once.
So it's where you go to retire anyway, isn't it, Bournemouth?
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. Okay, cool. If you got that right, you're absolutely brilliant. Give yourself a massive pat on the back. And if you got that right in the live show chat right now, give yourself the reward of dropping a like.
Also, get a life.
That's... Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. Apologies. Pick yourself up. You've just been bodied by John Machin live on stream. Right, cool. Let's talk about Liverpool's injury situation then. I've just done Journo Insight with Neil Jones, and we were discussing, this is one of the main talking points on that show, was how few players have there's an obvious return date for. Like, you know, when you often talk about players and you go, well, I know he's back in 3 weeks. Like Thiago, they immediately said 4 to 6 weeks, and so we had people calculated that'd be like 9 games. And then Klopp said, I hope it's more like 4. So we have a rough idea that we're probably 2 or 3 weeks maybe away from Thiago hopefully being back in training.
Mid-September is what I heard.
Yeah, but like, so injury room has got Diogo Jota down as being the 3rd of September. Joel Matip as the 3rd of September. Kelleher should be back by the end of the week, or by the end of next week. Curtis Jones should be back next week according to them. Keita potentially, but you know, and there's no return date on Oxlade-Chamberlain, Kanate, or Calvin Ramsey. But it just feels like, I mean, at this point, as I said, we've got a team worth of players out, Dad. It doesn't feel like there's no cavalry coming anytime soon. And even if Liverpool were to drop into the transfer market today, it's not helping us for Bournemouth at the weekend. And it's probably not helping us for Newcastle in midweek next week. That is a concern, because if you're looking at the lads at Old Trafford and the performance there, if you're hoping, there's nothing we can do to shake that up other than it has to be done internally. Maybe there's a couple of tactical tweaks. Maybe there's 1 or 2 little shifts we could do, but it seems like the answer's going to have to come in soul searching, and that's not something that you can put like a real value on.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's too much crisis talk. I mean, the match against United, we were on a hiding to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, they'd lost their first 2 games badly, including their first home game. The fans are up in arms. They want to set fire to the ground and things. They're just, the whole club is in crisis. And then they play their biggest arch rivals, and they have a whole week or 9 days or something to fire them all up. I just think, it's one of those things. Yeah. I mean, I don't, even at our best, I think we'd have struggled to win that game because of the emotion that went into it from United. And I don't think we should read too much into it. The problem was our first 2 games, people sort of found us out and stopped us scoring. And they're the ones you should be looking at rather than the United game. Forget about the United game. Fulham, and Crystal Palace, they both gave us problems, and we need to solve those problems. United gave us totally different problems. Yeah.
I mean, it's a point. And I think I've been kind of I've been circling that point for a few days, in that I don't think it feels catastrophic because it's Man United. It matters so much, and they are crap. But also, as you kind of point out, they are, at least on paper, better than both the teams that we've drawn against previously. So I think that's a good point, that you can, I've been saying this for a while, you can lose at Old Trafford, it never feels right, but you should be able to lose at Old Trafford and it not be a massive point of your season. But it became that because of the performances in the 2 games before.
We nearly always lose at Old Trafford. That's the history of.
But we've been telling ourselves United are shite, and we beat them 9 goals on aggregate last season.
If we'd beaten United, we'd still have the same problems we've got today. Why did we draw a Fulham, and why did we draw a Crystal Palace?
Yeah.
They're the problems we've got, not whether we beat or were beaten by United. The problem is totally different. That sort of masks the real issue.
Yeah.
And the real issue is that we're not scoring goals.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing. And I guess big decisions-wise, Claude, I guess Fabinho's, you would expect Fabinho just to come back in for this. It feels to me a little bit like, and this is again a knock-on impact of how many players are unavailable. There's no world where Fabinho doesn't start at Old Trafford, if not for we're just trying to protect him and Henderson a little bit, because we're one more injury away from genuinely being in deep shit here. So you'd expect him to come back in?
Yeah, I think after what happened, you have to. He's not being great, let's be honest, but you could say that for at least 9 other players on that football pitch in the first 3 games. So yeah, he has to start for me, because I can't see Milner and Henderson together. Especially, I can slightly understand it against United because it's United. It's like a derby. It's one of the biggest games of the season. This is now even bigger than the United game because of what's happened, and it's Bournemouth. You cannot have those 3 as you sit in midfield 3. I need someone attacking, because you're going to assume that Bournemouth are going to sit back and they're going to be hard to break down, and they'll be happy with anything out of the game. So where United was a case of they're at home, that everyone's already fuming. They're going to need a reaction. Now Liverpool, you've got to change stuff. And Fabinho comes in, and Fabinho gives you the license to put a more attacking-minded footballer on that midfield.
That's the thing. Klopp referenced this, didn't he, post-match against United? That he said, I can't even change formation because I haven't got another attacker. But I don't know whether... Because I suppose he probably it's whether he sees 4-2-3-1 as a change of formation, because it's not really. If you've already got an attacking midfielder in your middle 3, then 4-2-3 and 4-2-3-1 they're just positional difference.
One's more advanced and stays there pretty much.
It's game state more than.
It would give you possibly the option of bringing in Carvalho, because at the moment, if he's playing a 3, he's not playing Elliott and Carvalho on the same side.
Yeah.
There's just no way he's going to do that. But if you were playing 4-2-3-1, then there'd be options there that might allow it, but I'm still not convinced he's going to go, that gung-ho.
Because that's the thing, we talked about it before, positionally wise, my concern with Carvalho is it's too soon, and I don't think we should be throwing all of our hopes onto 19-year-old new signings, because we seen it with Elliott already. The injury really rocked him last year. He looked like he was absolutely flying. We need to rehabilitate him, because you only get to burst on the scene once, and that youthful exuberance will carry you through a lot of stuff. And it's very difficult to replicate that if you get stopped in any way. We've seen so many young players after careers not hit the highs for just mad circumstances. Like Ryan Brewster's a great example of that. He should be a generational sort of talent. He had everything going for him, but he gets injured at the wrong time, and he's never kind of recovered from that psychologically, physiologically. But the Carvalho thing, everything we said about Firmino earlier, if Bobby's being told to drop deep, then somebody's got to be told to fill that space, and there's definitely something in that. I did a show for Lad Bible this week talking about like Chelsea 04-05 and how Drogba facilitates Lampard's goal-scoring brilliance that season. 08-09 for Liverpool, Torres facilitates Gerrard's goal-scoring brilliance that season, and they are some huge shoes to fill for a 19-year-old kid. So again, that's why I'm wary of pressure. But if Elliott wants to be bits and pieces around the edge of the box, he might not be the answer for this game. It actually might be a Carvalho and just say, get up.
We shouldn't forget, it's not that long ago the Klopp's go-to 3 in midfield was Wijnaldum, Henderson and Milner. Yeah. He likes safety first in his midfield. I think to expect Milner to play 3 games on the bounce might be, particularly with Newcastle a few days away, he might want to give Jimmy Milner a rest this time out and play Henderson. I think Chris in his team selection programme said midfield of Henderson and Harvey Elliott and Fabinho. That seems probably the most likely, to be honest. I can't see him dropping Harvey Elliott because he's playing well. Yeah. He's not going to do without Fabinho again, I don't think. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not that long ago we thought our team without him was, totally disastrous. Yeah. you know.
But the same could be said of Henderson as well, you know.
And Henderson, well, fair enough, you would have to play him on the left, but he's such a worker, and he also does get forward.
I'm not against the idea of putting Elliott on the left of midfield, you know.
He's left-footed, I don't know why we haven't.
Because he's the closest thing we've got available at the moment to what Thiago can do in terms of that.
Out.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. There's a pecking order, and but because the awkwardness of Elliott means that somebody's going to have to play left of that midfield three, and it's just who's the better fit, and it's whether Elliott is Elliott so established on that right hand side, or are we so set on another inverted footballer on the right? Whereas there's just something to
Thiago plays on the left, so
you
know, he's inverted.
But you never have left-footed midfielders, do you? You know, so it feels like it's only a problem we ever come up against when you drop a left-footed in anywhere other than a left wing position. No one knows what to.
It just seems like the received wisdom, isn't it? That everyone has to be inverted.
No left-footed has ever played right-sided centre-half in the history of football. It's mental. But right-footers can be trusted all day long to play the left side of centre-back.
I do love a left-footed centre-half. Like,
yeah, God, absolutely. I'm here for it. Lefties of the world unite, people. But it's but I just wonder whether there's a tactical shift there, because Henderson is so established down that right hand side, and he does have that understanding with Trent and with Salah. And what you get as well is, if Trent's starting a little struggle at the moment with his form,
Henderson's better than
I'd rather have Henderson bombing back and getting in and covering those spaces. I think it asks too much of Elliott, because look, we were much better at Old Trafford when Elliott just fixed himself in a right attacking midfield slot, and we just went through him. But it does leave you exposed a little bit, whereas if you put him on that left-hand side, you've got a bit more assurance, because Robbo's just that bit more solid down that side. You've got Virgil behind as well, which I think helps. I'm just throwing it out there. I wouldn't be opposed to that, because if our system is built around our creativity in midfield coming from the left-sided midfield role, then why not just put the only creative midfielder who gets in the team on that side of the pitch, or give Carvalho.
The other thing, I mean, it doesn't get talked about a lot, is our team and our goals depend so much on our fullbacks. Yeah. If teams are going to sit deep, then a lot of what they used to do, which is put balls in behind defences, is not available. And I personally am not sure Robbo's played very well for a while, simply because he's no longer able to bomb forward on the left and go past fullbacks and put crosses in.
And also Diaz kind of gets in his way a bit.
But even when Diaz isn't on the pitch, even when Mane was there, Robbo wasn't doing it any longer. He tends to get the ball with his foot that way and come back inside all the time. And it's not because, I don't think it's because he hasn't got the engine anymore. I do think he looks up and he sees fullbacks and he sees people behind fullbacks and he sees someone behind there, and he thinks there's no real path through there. And I think we've got to find a solution to how much more our fullbacks need to contribute. I think their assists are probably going to go down dramatically, particularly Robbo's, because he doesn't quite have the delivery that Trent does.
Well, it's interesting. He's still getting into some of our best situations of those first 3 games.
He's actually got in the box more often than some of our forwards.
Honestly, again, we said this last season. If he ever learns how to shoot, he could be a game changer for us. But that's the problem, is that he can't shoot.
He can't head it.
But we should be maybe asking a little bit more of in that regard. But I've seen a couple of times against United, got some great space on that left-hand side, got to the byline a couple of really good times, did the same against Fulham. The only good things we did in that first half against Fulham was freeing Robbo and or Diaz at the back post. But you're right, you need, if he's going to do what he does, someone needs to gamble near post, or somebody needs to gamble towards the goalkeeper, and Bobby Firmino isn't that, so he either need to tell him to do that.
But Diaz has started to do it a bit. He comes in and he lays Robbo in a few times, and with a few tricks and flicks can do that. But I do think if we can improve the number of assists from the fullbacks again, get it up to the normal level, that will be a far more dangerous side.
There's also a little bit which we don't want to skate around too much. I want to see Verge be a bit more aggressive.
Honest to God, I'm not. I've called him out already how many times. I've been both away games, and both away games he's went straight down the tunnel and not even clapped the fans. If there's someone who needs to have a look at themselves, it is Virgil van Dijk, because I'm absolutely sound with you being boss for 4 seasons straight and having a bit of a dip and coming back from an injury and not playing as good. I'm absolutely sound with like that. I'll stick behind you when you're wearing the Liverpool shirt. But if you're not coming over and clapping the fans and thanking them for coming to the game and paying their wages to watch you, and then get off the football pitch, I can't stand
you wonder
it.
whether he might have a little niggle and he's nursing it. And,
I don't know whether
he's going off for treatment or all sorts.
Yeah.
See, the other thing that worries me, and I'm not suggesting this is Virgil by any means, is there's a World Cup coming up, and the number of players who go through the motions desperate not to be injured before the World Cup.
I said it's just a consideration. Again, there's tons of things. I'm going to do a video probably later today on my channel about all the fears and potential problems around Liverpool or what have you. The World Cup thing is absolutely, that's a massive part of it, and obviously, but also off the back of how much effort was put in. Me and Chris were just talking about plans for around like November, December when the World Cup's on, and we were talking about like, let's say just potential live shows or whatever, and we were like, well, it's England and we're not arsed, and Chris immediately went, but also having a break, and I've thought that too, and everyone I've spoken to is a bit like, kind of looking forward to the World Cup as a break, and there's no way that the players aren't having a little bit of that as well. Everyone's got this idea on it's a straight burn until mid-November, and then you're either going the World Cup and you're into the World Cup, or you're off and you're having a bit of recuperation, and you know something psychologically is not quite right. And we're just talking as fans, and this might not translate to the players in any way, shape or form, but for discussion's sake, we're all having a little bit, you said it before with the international break, could all just do with a break already. It's not started yet, and we're already thinking about where your break comes. Like when you wake up on a Monday morning and you're like, oh, when's Friday, or when's my next day off? Means you're not rested and ready for the week if you're already thinking about when your next break is. It's a small consideration. Hopefully elite sports people don't think the way that we do. They're not as mentally weak as us. But
the thing about Virgil is he just not lethargic. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't seem urgent with what he does.
But he never does. But that's the thing, though. But I agree that I don't know. It's just things aren't clicking for him as easily. I don't think. I think the way when you're that kind of footballer, I think Trent's got a similar issue with that. They're both so good that when you like Gerrard, that this is the peak of his powers. You could just wave your foot at the ball and it'd be like perfect every single time. It'll go exactly where you want. And I don't know what the process is when that stops working for you. Because I remember like the end of Gerrard's career, a couple of games when he was tasked with dragging us out the shit. But it was 13-14 and he's having like shots from distance. It's like, Stevie, that's not been your game for like 3 or 4 years now, mate. You haven't had that in your locker. But he's hoping because he's done it before, he'll still be able to do it. When you're that kind of player, and it's all about your talent and your skill, not about your raw physicality, and not about this and that. I think sometimes it can be hard. I don't know how it can be just in your head sometimes. That's where I'm concerned about.
The thing about Virgil is he's always been laid back, and he's always casual. He looks casual, but always does the job. I mean, have you ever seen him hurl himself on the ground in front of anything? No.
But for me, the difference was in years past, like he'd stop players, so he'd get out to them. He'd make a bit more of an effort. I don't know what it is. He'd get to the man just a little. You wouldn't think he was out of
close him down a lot quicker.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. You wouldn't think he was out of stride or he was busting a gut to get there, but he got there faster, and then it stopped everything and slowed everything down.
There is a little thing I think where you're trying to prove that you're all right by doubling down on how you do things. Yeah. You know, where you like, well, you've got to show that I'm fine by showing how laid back I am in this situation. You don't want to appear to break a sweat because it breaks the aura. You know what I mean? You'll have people thinking you're struggling more than you are. Whereas actually the problem is with the levels of analysis, and you saw it with Sky and then Milner's bollock and Virgil on the pitch. There's a few more eyes on him, and it could just do with maybe just flex your muscles a bit. Yeah. Actually, just go and aggressively win something just to let everyone know that I'm dead pissed off here. Yeah. Don't fucking try me, mate, because I'll do you. I'll have
and
you.
if that's what I mean. That's why I remember PSG coming to Anfield and Milner within the first 5 minutes put one on Neymar, and it was like, don't start. Yeah. We'll do this all game, and if it's not me, it'll be Robbo or it'll be someone else on the pitch. It'll be Jordan Henderson, and every time you try and get past me, whether I'm getting a yellow card or not, I'm putting one on you, and I'm making sure you know I'm there. And I think he needs to do that.
I'm expecting a big game from Berge and from Trent this weekend, to be honest, because I think they both know they've got a bit of a point to prove, and I thought Trent was brilliant against Palace in that, particularly when we needed to go up a level, and he really wanted to influence that game. Hopefully we'll see more of that. We're going to be picking our 11s in a minute. We had a super chat before we move on to the BetMate teams from Jaden Granville with $7.99 Australian dollars. Thank you so much, mate. He says, Bournemouth, a good game for everyone to, brackets, hopefully, kick into gear a bit. Start at the back with Verge, Trent, Robbo, Simi, and the rest onwards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, show you're impenetrable. You know, like, show some steel first. Show that they've got no chance. Tell them their entire game is just being pinned back and pummeled to bits until we finally win. And show that the whole Fortress Anfield thing would be very nice to make sure that we maintain. Right, okay, it is time, Chloe, for you guys to start to pick your BetMate team for this week. You go ahead with that. Sure. So slightly different rules this week. It is the £3 Prem Saturday 3 p.m. pot. So the mission this time is to pick a 7-a-side team plus subs exclusively from the games that are the 3 p.m. kickoffs. You can see the brains trust already stuck in here.
I think they're going to get beat, so that's why I did.
If you want to get involved with this, scan the QR code on the screen if you're on YouTube, or the link will be in the description underneath. And if you join up and use the code Redmen5, you get £5 in free bets when you sign up as well to get involved.
Question:
yes.
Do you get as a goalkeeper? What's the point system for clean sheets or saves?
So yeah, I think like saves and stuff make it add into it as well.
Okay.
So what you've got at the moment? So as we said, you can only pick 2 Liverpool players.
So if you don't get attacked, then you can't make.
You'll get points. You'll get clean sheet. You get clean sheet points. But I think there's a combination of what you want is goalkeepers to make saves and get clean sheets is where you're going to get the most points from. Right.
So maybe Pickford is. I don't think he's getting a clean sheet. That's
if you go by, actually, if you sort it by 5-game average, which I know we've only got 3 games so far, the top point scoring on average goalkeeper so far is Jordan Pickford, and we know Everton have been crap, so that's quite a telling point.
I mean, I'm not going to pick anyone else from Everton in this entire team. I don't think so. Do you want to? That makes a lot of sense. Right, we'll go with him.
So you go with Jordan Pickford in goal. Okay, the 2 defenders.
Right.
So again. A lot of Leeds players up high from this. Obviously, you've got Reece James in there potentially.
I don't think Leicester are great. Koulibaly got a red card, didn't he?
Yep.
So he won't be playing. These games are not easy,
are they? This is the bank of knowledge that Chloe's bringing out.
The Brighton v Leeds just makes me think like that's an exciting game to me at the moment. So I'm quite concerned that Cancelo might be...
And who Man City playing?
They're not going to score a lot.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, they're not conceding a lot of goals, are they? City certainly not. They might concede 1 against Palace, but not much.
What do you think of Reece James, Chelsea v Leicester? They were crap against Leeds, but Leicester are crap as well.
He's likely to score a goal as well.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll go Reece James.
And partnered at the back by Cancelo. Oh no.
His mate. What one?
We haven't seen one. Not many mates, but
Nathan Ache's out injured, I think.
Thiago Silva, but that would be Chelsea finished.
Do they have any attacking players that we really care for, or midfielders?
Gonna have to hurry along, guys.
Okay, guys, sorry. Right, I'm gonna get.
You want
I was gonna
firepower.
I was gonna get Trent because you feel like he's gonna have a boss game. Okay. But I also am stuck between Diaz and Salah for me top. I'm going Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield. Okay. That's 100%.
Okay, so you go with Trent. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we
Kevin De Bruyne in midfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
KDB.
There he is. And the other midfielder.
The midfielder now. Here's McAllister can score. Rodrigo, he's been brilliant so far.
Yeah,
Do you want to go with him?
Rodrigo from Leeds. Good shout. And then at your forward, so you go Mo Salah, nailed on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Haaland or...
We've still got Haaland.
Yeah, we've still got Haaland. We've only got one in. Jack Harrison's been playing. The thing is, Haaland is...
he's not scoring a lot of goals.
He's not scoring a lot of goals.
But do you want to be those guys who don't put Erling Haaland in?
I'm not one to play to the crowd, to be honest. I'd be crap at football.
So Harrison, did you say you put in there? Yeah. So
Haaland, Johnny Haaland.
Okay, cool. And then you just quickly pick your subs. They're people who'll be auto subbed in if for any reason your players aren't starting.
So for the whole lot. goalie defender.
One goalie, one defender, one midfielder, one forward.
Everton, because I don't think I think David Raya, because of Everton, who've got to score, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
And if he has to make saves, he has to make saves.
Yeah. Just a note on this, you guys carry on with that. The beauty of this is that you can change your team up until 5 minutes before kickoff. So if you make catastrophic selection errors like I did by putting Harry Wilson in week 1, you can change it out up until 5 minutes before kickoff as well.
Can these be from the same teams or not now?
No, you still got your maximum of 2 from any given team.
Right, okay.
Where are we up to?
We're on the centre back. You wanted to go with Thiago Silva? Do you want to go with Thiago Silva?
Yeah, we've got a Chelsea space, yeah.
I think we do. Yeah, we've only got Reece James. Right, the attackers is where it's at.
Good comment here from Mick O'Keefe, by the way, just back on the Liverpool theme. 105 points left to play for with the World Cup mid-season. Relax, lads.
Kid?
It's far from
over.
I like that. I like the spirit of positivity. Anyone wants to throw some more spirit of positivity comments in? Once these guys have finally picked the subs bench, we will be moving on to have a look at the other Premier League fixtures. Then we will be choosing our Liverpool 11 and doing our score predictions as well. How are we doing?
How many from Leeds do we... Oh, how many Leeds do we have? Right, so we do have a Leeds place. What's that Aaron's kid who's been scoring from America?
Oh, yeah. Go for him.
I don't know where he is now. This is my little problem.
They're all midfield players. And
is he
it's
a forward?
Not Adams, is it?
He might be a forward.
Oh, he might be a forward, okay.
Come on, guys. This is your substitutes.
Okay.
I feel like you put more thought into your subs than actually into your first 11.
Because you never know.
You never know.
At this rate, I am going to go back to the top and just pick someone off the basis of hurrying the hell off. Rob, he's been doing great for Brighton.
Final sub.
Where's me Aaron's? There we go.
There he is. Right, okay, pick your captain and your vice-captain. Because double points for captains, 1.5 times.
Yeah. Vice-captain, I'd go probably...
Rodrigo's scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah,
happy with De Bruyne as captain, Rodrigo. Okay, scroll up and click the other way, down. Save. That's the one. Team locked in. So Chloe, just want to read through your team for this one.
Jordan Pickford between the sticks, Reece James and Trent at the back. One of those is the better right back, but we don't need to talk about that. We've got Kevin De Bruyne and Rodrigo in the midfield, 2 very attacking players, and then Salah and Haaland up top.
Very good indeed. Yes, get involved. If you're on YouTube, you can scan the QR code. The link will be underneath the post in the podcast and, of course, in the YouTube video as well. Yes, you can get involved. Use code REDMEN5 when you join up. You get £5 worth of free bets, and then you can get involved with all of that good stuff. It is the £3 it's the £3 league as well. There is also, and I've completely forgotten to mention this, and I realise Steve told me this, so excuse me a moment while I frantically find the way and go, yes, right, okay, sound. If anyone is a subscriber to Redmen Plus as well, we've got an exclusive Redmen Plus league as well. So all Redmen Plus users have got access to a special private pot, completely free to play. The info's been sent by an email. It's in the Discord, and it's on our Facebook group as well. So whether you're a club legend or a club captain, you've got access to a free-to-play pot as well, exclusively for... I might need to use that pot and win to pay for the phone that I've just dropped out of my pocket on the floor. But yeah, the details will be in your inbox if you want to join us on that one as well this week. Anyway, let's crack on. What is your 11 for this one, Dad?
The obvious defenders.
Because there's none others. Maybe Tsimikas?
Well, Tsimikas, I think, is knocking on the door, but I don't think he's going to come in for this one particularly. Otherwise, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robbo with Alisson behind them.
Yeah.
Midfield, we're only talking 4 players possibly there.
Yeah.
I don't think Carvalho and Elliott will play in the same team, so I'm thinking Fabinho, Elliott and Henderson, and up front the obvious 3 of Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino and Diaz. Any
movement on that, Clan?
I'd like us to be more attacking and play 4-2-3-1 and maybe put Carvalho or Elliott in the 10, but it's not going to happen. So I'd start Costas, to be honest, because Robertson's the one that I'd rather him play the derby. And I know we've got Newcastle before that, but maybe you give Costas a run in, because
it's whether you give Costas Newcastle.
But he keeps bringing him on with like 2 minutes to go, and it is the maddest substitute.
Well, it's part. I think some reasons it's protecting Robertson, and others it's keeping Tsimikas in his eye in a little bit. But the Tsimikas thing's not a bad shout, and only because if we're talking about a team that's going to sit in and you're at home and you're going to dominate possession and all that kind of stuff, that that if Robertson's not getting into these powerful drives, overlapping and getting to the byline, Tsimikas does have, I think, generally better delivery.
Yeah, better cross from
He's,
the ball.
he's our best corner taker for me.
Well, that's an interesting one. So maybe there is an outside shelf for Kostas Tsimikas. Interesting stuff. Right, let's have a look then at the other Premier League fixtures, which at some point I've totally removed from the screen. We know we are a 3 p.m. kickoff, which is very...
Brighton Leeds.
Yeah.
3 p.m.
Okay. Good
City
start.
Crystal Palace. 3 p.m.
Yeah.
It's someone v Fulham. It's the 5:30 kickoff. Maybe Arsenal.
Arsenal versus Fulham. Well done, Chloe.
12:30 is Manchester United. Maybe.
Away at
It's someone not great. I don't think.
Southampton. Well done.
Yeah. Sunday. I don't know.
So yeah, 12:30. Southampton, Man United. I mean, if they want to turn up in like that green kit there and then blame out it looks like too much like the grass or something, that'll be a great throwback. Chelsea host Leicester at 3:00, as mentioned. Brighton host Leeds. City host Palace. The two ones that stand out for me in the weekend, apart from our own, are Crystal Palace travelling to Man City and Fulham travelling to Arsenal. And that obviously two teams that have taken points off us already. It would be absolutely sensational if they could do that against another team that has pretensions at the top of the league, just to show that it's not because we're shit or exclusively because we're shit. It'd be nice if it was because they're actually decent teams who are capable. I don't think Crystal Palace will get anything from Man City, and the major reason I do think this is because they did twice last year, and I think Pep seals doors up like Wolves did it a couple of seasons ago, and then after that they had no change out of them.
Vieira though. There's connection there.
The next Man City manager in lieu, potentially. Fulham going away to us. It'd be nice if Mitrovic could go and shake them up a bit.
And with Zaha, if they play him through the middle, which is where I think he's probably best, then he's going to give them problems if they, rather than just sit back and do nothing like most teams do.
Yeah.
They've got an outlet.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a super chat from MKH31 who said Liverpool will bounce back 3 points versus the Cherries. I like that optimism. Let's have more of that, certainly. Yeah, there you go. They're the big games. I want to let you know. I want you to let me know in the comments what you think is likely to happen across them. What's your starting 11 for Liverpool going to be? And just look, if you just want to get stuff off your chest, get stuff off your chest. Just be nice. Just don't be nasty to other Liverpool fans. Everyone wants Liverpool to be on top, right? No amount of begging for transfers is going to make any difference to that, unfortunately. So let's all stick in this together. If you go in the game, then make sure you're full, fit and ready and mad for the fight, and let's go and scream our hearts and lungs out of this team at the weekend and hopefully get the season up and running. Wouldn't that be nice?
I'd love it.
Score prediction, Dad?
2-0.
Chloe?
I predicted them and we've lost, or we've drawn 3 times. 3-1 Liverpool.
2-0 to Liverpool.
I say that, but I don't think we can score 3 goals. Never mind. 1-0.
I'm having a little bit of like, and genuinely I'm a bit of like, well, let's come back to the battle. I'm not arsed now, we win.
We really need a bit of luck.
Yeah.
One of those which hits the post and goes in rather than goes out. One of those.
Definitely, I completely agree with that. Right, score predictions, starting 11 predictions and more. Starting 11 predictions show is out already because Pajak did that, I believe. Did he do that?
Yeah.
Has he done this one already? Good on him. What's his team? Oh, wow. That's a good team. I'm sure he's been getting all kinds of stick because he's putting certain players in that other people like more or less. It's just the world we live in now, apparently. If you want more from us, do check out Redmen Plus. Neil Jones on JNO Insight with me talking about all the potential targets been linked in midfield that Liverpool may or may not move for in the final week of the transfer market. There's also Around the League and a whole host of other shows, including Debate Show and more. So if you want videos or podcasts, and of course that Boss Discord group, then do head over to redmenplus.com. Thank you so much, guys. Absolute pleasure. And Champions League draw, if you're live, will follow this evening. It's a 2-hour live show on actual normal telly. I've got no idea when the draw's happening, so come and join me,
4
Chris.
p.m.
Is it?
Oh no, that's when it
5
starts.
p.m. Yeah, 5 p.m. at least. Anyway, we'll be live from 5. Me, Chris and Chloe for the Champions League draw. Hopefully we get a boss one. We can all be excited about that. See us there. Ta-ra. Get closer to Liverpool Football Club and the magnificent city of Liverpool over on Redmen Plus, our Liverpool streaming service. Documentaries, features, more content from the Redmen studio, and you can learn deep and in-depth knowledge from experts, journalists, and cultural features going to get you closer to the football club that we all love. Head to Redmen Plus.